This stone shouldn't exist. Modern engineers use diamond-tipped drills and lasers to cut rock this hard with such precision. But history tells us the builders didn't even have the wheel or a writing system. Welcome to the Bolivian highlands. High in the Andes Mountains of Bolivia, at nearly 4,000 meters above sea level, stands a site that continues to divide historians, engineers, and anyone willing to look closely. This place is called Puma Punku. At first glance, it appears unfinished, broken, scattered. But Puma Punku is not chaotic. It is precise. Massive stone blocks, some weighing tens of tons, are cut with astonishing accuracy. Perfect right angles, symmetrical grooves, clean internal corners. Not the kind of work one would expect from a primitive process. And yet, according to conventional history, these stones were shaped over 2,000 years ago. Why? What was Puma Punku built for? Most archaeologists agree on one thing. Puma Punku was not a fortress. It was not a residential city. The strongest evidence suggests it was a ceremonial and ritual complex, part of the larger Tiwanaku civilization. In many ancient cultures, symmetry represented order, and order reflected the cosmos. Every angle, every repetition, every alignment was likely intentional, meant to mirror a sacred balance between earth and sky. Puma Punku may not have been built to impress enemies, but to honor something far greater. How? How could it have been built? This is where the debate truly begins. According to mainstream archaeology, the builders used stone tools, abrasives like sand and water, and simple copper-based alloys. Slow, labor-intensive, but, in theory, possible. With enough time, enough skilled hands, and techniques refined across generations, stone can be shaped with incredible precision. There is also strong evidence that Puma Punku followed a modular design system. The famous H-shaped blocks are not random. They are nearly identical, standardized, interlocking, designed to fit together, suggesting advanced planning and repeated measurements. This was not improvisation. It was engineering by design. Yet even with these explanations, something doesn't fully add up, because modern experiments using similar tools have struggled to reproduce this level of precision at this scale. The tools may be understood, but the system is not. Transportation, an unresolved challenge. The stones themselves raise another question. The nearest known quarries lie kilometers away, across rough terrain, at extreme altitude. No wheeled vehicles, no large draft animals, no written records explaining the method. How were stones this massive moved, lifted, and aligned with such accuracy? We have theories, but no consensus. Why is it still unsolved? Perhaps the greatest mystery of Puma Punku is not what we don't know, but what was never recorded. The Tiwanaku left no written explanations, no manuals, no instructions for future generations, and the site itself appears to have been abruptly abandoned. Structures left incomplete, blocks scattered as if work suddenly stopped, not destroyed by war, not clearly wiped out by disaster, just unfinished. So what are we left with? Not evidence of impossible technology, but evidence of exceptional skill. Not proof of fantasy, but proof that ancient knowledge may have been far more refined and far more fragile than we assume. Puma Punku does not demand a single answer. It invites a better question. What happens when knowledge is passed without writing, without records, and then disappears? Because Puma Punku does not shout its secrets. It whispers them. And it reminds us that history is not always a complete story. The truth may be more complex, and far more fascinating than we imagine.